I'm often asked, how does chronic stress play into anxiety? Well, it's really hard to separate the two, but if you have prolonged chronic stress, and by chronic, what I'm saying is that every single day you're involved in situations that are highly stressful and you just can't get out of that situation, and you're having a stress response all day long, usually in a matter of weeks, your body gets locked into a stress response. It's now chronic, and it never really shuts off. You're experiencing low-level stress while you sleep. Your body never recovers. You end up with weakened adrenals. It can move on into chronic fatigue. All these things that have to do with a lack of energy, especially in your adrenal glandular system. But anytime you have weak adrenals, it's much easier for you to fall into a pattern of anxiety. Because usually in chronic stress, you're stuck also in emotional patterns. And almost all anxiety has a certain particular emotional pattern that anything that seems to resemble that in your life triggers that anxiety response. And so you're always experiencing these same emotions around situations that don't really seem appropriate, really, for the response you're having. But the way that adrenals tie into it, again, is that anytime you have weak adrenals, your body has an easier time to trip off into losing its energy. And in that state of a lack of energy, it's very easy to just experience fatigue and anxiety together. And it's very easy to trip off again into those emotional patterns because you're in a weakened state. It's kind of hard to separate all of these things from each other because they all kind of blend together into chronic stress, anxiety. But the main thing that you can do as for yourself, besides getting medical help, because you do need help, is to strengthen your adrenals. Do things for stress. Do things that are positive, that have a positive effect on your mental energy, whether that's getting outside, just engaging with friends in play, meditation. All these things set your brain up to have different responses. And that is the best thing you can do besides building up your adrenals for anxiety and chronic stress. One of the things I always talk about with Tian-Chi and inner peace is that it creates a different energetic pattern in your brain. So it makes it harder for your brain to just always keep going back to that one emotional response, because you're not dwelling down in the stress response area of your brain all the time anyway. This happens in all chronic stress. Your energy withdraws from the frontal lobe, which has to do with focus, creativity, pleasure, and willpower, drops down into just fight or flight. And if you're always in fight or flight, eventually you're just going to start having anxiety. There's just no way around it. So not only do you have to retrain your brain, find out what emotional patterns you need to heal from and move on from, but you have to change your brain energetically along with that. And it's very easy to do if you're complementing your system with something like inner peace or Tian-Chi.